Okay. Let's see if we can wrap up the tank quest today. Oh, hello, Lozanique. Oh, hello, judging by your attire, you must be a traveler from across the seas, and I suppose Brukevu has enlisted you in our aid. That you were guided here safely must be the work of the brave Narwhal, who remains watchful even in this dire time. We are ever grateful for its vigilance. My name is Lozanique, and I hail from the northern reaches of Tural, where even our breath freezes when caught in chilling winds. Our people revere Tural the drawl of the Narwhal, whose essence rests in the cradle of the sleepless, our most sacred treasure. Through the fathomless depths, it swam without rest, protecting its home from any who would do it harm. Legends tell that the Narwhal could place the burden of its fatigue upon another, and thus was able to maintain its vigil night and day. So too can any who possess the cradle lull a person, willing or no, into a deep slumber, all while avoiding the need for sleep themselves. Needless to say, such power could cause untold harm in the wrong hands. Thus was the greatest warrior of our village, Tentoawa, Tentoa. Tentoa, I think makes sense. Tasked with crossing the ocean, returning that which is most sacred to us. I'd have joined him, but I feared I would only be a burden, so I remained here, that I might find someone to send to his aid. Tentoa was, ever rushed bravely in and blindly into the thick of things, leaving me behind to watch and worry. But if there's anything I can do to help him, even a little, then I must. Brukevu has done well to send you to me, and I can tell that you are just the man to temper his more reckless tendencies and keep him safe during his quest. As luck would have it, a letter from Tentoa arrived shortly before you did. It seems he discovered the thief made their way to a place called Ishgard. While I don't doubt his prowess, even Tentoa would be rendered helpless before the narwhal's lullaby. Please, could you follow him to Ishgard and find him before he does anything rash? Ishgard's like a second home to me. Thank you. I knew the narwhal would be a brave protector to our side. Tentoa sails to an unfamiliar place, but despite his hasty nature, he doubtless spent time gathering information about his new surroundings before planning his next step. If Ishgard has a place like this one, where people gather to drink and talk, he must go there first. Ask for a swordsman with blue hair and attire like mine. I'm sure it won't be long till you find him. It is missing. What'll it be? A lad from the Western continent? Well, I can't go around gossiping about the comings and goings of my customers, now can I? That's a quick way to an empty tavern. But I suppose since it's you, I can make an exception just this once. A lad much like the one you described walked in through my door not long ago, was asking anyone whose ear he could bend about a stolen narwhal or something he was after. Usually you buy someone a drink before interrogating him, but not him. Nobody knew what he was going on about, but he was determined, asked where else in Ishgard people might gather to flap their lips. So I told him to head to the Jeweled Crozier. If you leave now, I reckon he'll still be there. You'll know him when you see him, trust me. What a useless... The narwhal's horn, you'd think that manners keep people warm for how desperately these people cling to them. And here I am trying to to rid their city of a thief. It seems you know me, but I don't think I've ever seen you before. I'd remember. Lozanique sent you. Even across the oceans she can, sense when I'm in trouble. I won't deny a helping hand, especially one with her blessing. I'm having no luck gathering information from these people. Seems there are unwritten rules regarding favors that no one's bothered to tell me. I know the thief traveled here, but that's where the trail runs cold. I thought it'd only a matter of time until they use the cradle to commit some misdeed or another, but it seems nothing's amiss within or without Ishgard's walls. I've only a description to go on, although it's availed me of nothing so far. A woman of a race known in this land as the Elzin. She had striking red hair and eyes the color of rust. A scar dominates her forehead and a mole rests upon her lips. She came to my village posing as a scholar with an interest in the cradle. Although she gave us a name, I know now it was a lie, just like everything else that spawned from her mouth. The bounty of meat, vegetables, and fruit she offered was worth its weight in gold to us. After the cold snap we suffered last year, we couldn't afford to turn her away. But looking back, I realized how brazen her deception was. Although she wore the robes of a scholar, she moved with the poise of a predator. I marked her as a fearsome warrior the moment I laid eyes upon her. Of course, she wouldn't have been able to travel so far north on her own if she was so unseasoned, so I thought nothing of it at the time. It was my first misstep of many. I know it's not much, but if you see even the smallest scrap of a clue in there, I'd be a damn sight better than what I currently have. A skilled sword would be known among the knights of the congregation. Knights, was it? I suppose that's what you call these deadly-looking fellows clad in steel. Yes, you may be onto something there. But where would we find one willing to speak? At the barracks in the near the tavern. I know the way. I'll meet you there. This is it, right? Let's not waste any time. Why, Master Novice, what brings you to the congregation? This Passage of the Unbound is not a name I've heard before, but if one of their number has brought an artifact of great power to Ishgard, we would be ill-advised to suffer their presence. We shall act on this information at once. If there's aught that would threaten the peace, it's our duty to root it out. Consider the Knights of the Congregation at your disposal. Thank you for hearing us out, truly. Now, does anything about the description we shared ring a bell? An Elzen woman with red hair and eyes the color of rust. Wait, you said she bore a scar on her forehead, yet? Yes? And a mole? It could not be. You know who she is? Well, such information is usually privy only to those within our order. Pray understand my hesitation. But weren't you listening to anything we told you? She's too dangerous to be left alone. This isn't the time for secrecy. I know I'm a stranger in your city, but I can't stand by while innocent lives might be at risk. If you can't trust Tentoa, then trust me. You're right, of course. If the hero who ended the Dragonsong War is not worthy of our trust, then who is? Very well. Master Tentoa, pray accept my apologies. Although you may not be Ishgardian or desire to keep its people safe is plain to see. We shall place our trust in you as Master Novice has. I'm glad we can see eye to eye. Now then, what do you know of this thief? Your description called back some old memories of a knight named Leofine. Merely recalling her story makes me ill at ease, for the mark she left upon our honorable order was black as pitch. None know her whereabouts since she was expelled from the congregation. I had thought living with the shame of her deeds would be punishment enough, but if she now consorts with villains that threaten the very foundation of our order, 'tis clear we can suffer her freedom no longer. I shall inform my superiors of this development, and suggest that the congregation does all in its power to track down Leofine and place her in custody. If you learn aught of value, I promise to share it with you at once. Really? That's more than we could have asked. Suppose we ought to consider what to do in the meantime. Care to join me over there? They have a name, Leofine, former knight of Ishgard. This means she knows how to hide herself in the city well. Grasping about at straws won't get us anywhere. But enough familiarity does little to help our chances. We may have no choice but to wait until night discovers a lead. Nevertheless, I intend to spend every waking moment learning more about the city and its workings. As for you, I only ask that you be ready to move at a moment's notice. Until then, be well. There you are. I've been seen walking Ishgard's streets whenever I've been able, and I've taken to searching for any sleeping people. You see, the land I'm from isn't much warmer than this, and people know not to tempt fate by dozing off in the open air. Even those who, blind with drink manage to find their way home somehow. I figure the only force powerful enough to overcome that instinct of self-preservation will be the cradle, so if we find a sleeper exposed to the elements, we may very well discover Leofine nearby. I can't imagine she brought it all this way to just remain idle. It's a tedious prospect, but we need to scour every back alley and shadow walkway before anyone catches something worse than a cold. Master Novice, Master Tentoa, I bring good tidings. The Temple Knights wasted no time in distributing handbills across Ishgard containing Leofine's description. These efforts have already borne fruit, but we but recently received a report of someone matching her features being sighted. Really? Where? She was sighted near Camp Dragonhead by a patrolling sentry. He described a woman with red hair and a distinct scar on her forehead. The outpost can be reached by passing through the Gates of Judgment and heading east. Once there, speak with Sir Yugnox, Yugenwa, for the full report. I knew she'd show herself. Let's hurry. This must be him. Well, don't dally. Why do you have a sword and shield? Are you also a tank? Usually I get brought in to do, work for someone who isn't of the class that I'm doing. I was informed you were on your way. This is concerning the report by one of our sentries, yes? You sighted a woman matching the description in the handbill sent by the congregation. She was headed south along the footpath, but that's all we know. Yes, this is Yugenwa? Or is it Eugenwa? Eugenwa probably makes more sense. What? Hold fast, I shall send aid at once. What happened? A shipment of supplies was waylaid by monstrous beasts. A contingent of temple knights should have been protecting it, but something's amiss. They need our help. We would be in your debt. The shipment was attacked on the road west of the observatorium. I shall muster more knights. Please, go find my men before any lives are lost. Is this... Nope. It should be close, right? I'll search the other side of the river. You search further down the road, and keep your weapon at the ready. saved us. We almost... We won't be feasting today. Not a moment too soon. While thy watch is eternal, and eternal is the sleep it bestows. We were too late. Or are they just asleep? I feel like they're just asleep. They're not. Just look, they're asleep is all. Good, good. Our trusty chocobo suddenly became unsure on their feet, and the wagon toppled to the side of the road. There's nothing for it but to fix the damage on the spot. Temple Knights went to secure the area, but before I knew it, each and every one of them had fallen asleep while they were where they were standing. Then the beasts attacked. It was just me before those snarling fangs. Time to wake up. Sleep here any longer, and the cold will have you. Oh, what happened? We fell asleep, but we were patrolling. You must be mistaken. A temple knight would never shirk his duty so. Are you calling me a liar? I saw you fall over on your arse with my own eyes. If not for Sir Eugenois' quick response and the bravery of these warriors, we would all be food for the vultures by now. The congregation will hear of this dereliction of duty, you can be sure. Hold on just a moment. They aren't the ones to blame. A sacred relic of my people was stolen, and... Now isn't the time. Sorry, forget. No, we explain! Forget I said anything. I think we should explain. Whatever dizziness overtook the chocobo seems to have passed, and so I'll resume my journey once the carriage is repaired. Assuming my guards are quite refreshed, I believe we can make do on our own. Please return to Camp Dragonhead and warm yourselves. There's no coincidence that the giant birds and the two guards took leave of their senses around the same time. This is the work of the cradle. But even if Leofine was here, she is no longer. Let's return to the city and consider our next steps. You said that the knights from Camp Dragonhead are on their way? Yes? Then I believe we shall have ample protection for the remainder of our journey. Leofine may have escaped us, but the witness's report has given us a clue to follow. Thank the narwhal for guiding us swiftly to the knights. We've received report on the incident near Camp Dragonhead. 2 of our own sleeping on duty. By the fury. Have you reached them even a moment later, this day would have been much darker. Although it pains me to say it, those 2 shall be punished as it befits the magnitude of their negligence. If I may, I don't believe the blame rests entirely on their shoulders. The cradle of the sleepless was used against them, I'm certain. Ah, yes, you said it possessed the power to lull others into a deep sleep. I admit that would explain these exceptional circumstances. Regardless, they were still bested by the enemy, and their charge was almost killed as a result. Punishment's the only recourse. I see. A harsh stance maybe, but I can respect that you don't treat your duty lightly. Well, if you learn anything else of Leofine's plots, please let us know at once. Even though we didn't find her, I'm glad we were able to save those soldiers, and thanks for coming to us. Nay, 'tis the Temple Knights who owe you thanks. We shall continue our search, and rest assured that you should be the first to know of any developments. There's more I would tell you about the cradle. Things I should have told you sooner. Join me over there, and I'll do my best to fix that mistake. Now you've seen with your own eyes what I've only been able to describe. The Narwhal's lullaby can put even hardened warriors into a restful slumber. They may as well be defenseless as a newborn babe, but even with such power, my people never use it to attack our enemies. Its sole purpose has always been to keep a single person awake, an eternal guardian who would never sleep, never rest, the Wide-Eye, me. For 10 years I've been awake, training day and night to gain the strength I have now, and strength to shield my people. Of course, another must relieve the weariness I cast aside, the Shut-Eye. You've met her, in fact, Lozinique. As I've been awake all these 10 years, she's spent the better part of her days in a deep slumber. Her brief periods of wakefulness are spent exercising and eating so her body doesn't waste away. And so we've barely spoken, despite how much I depend on her. When we were young, we'd spend our days exploring the mountain paths, but that time is long past. Telling you all this now, I realize how very little of my life has been dedicated to my own pursuits. Lozinique and I both have devoted ourselves entirely to the protection of our village. Do you miss her? I do. I see her only when I have to use the cradle, and even then she is sleeping. I barely remember what her smile looks like. A life unencumbered by sleep must seem like a life of freedom, but if those you care for aren't there to share it with you, it can feel like a prison. But we don't have the luxury to dwell on regrets. I see now that although my people never use the cradle for ill, wicked hearts can twist anything towards evil. And that's something I can't tolerate. The very thought that this might happen again makes the bile churn in my gullet. We must bring Leofine's schemes to an end. Just the person I wanted to see. I'd like to ask your advice on a certain matter, if you don't mind. It's been a while since my last letter to Lozinique. I wanted to wait until I discovered something worth sharing to write her, but we're still completely in the dark. I don't want her to worry, but I don't know what to tell her. Tell her you're in good spirits. You might be right. Silence might make her think that something terrible has happened. Alright, I'll start right away. I may not have much time left. Oh, don't misunderstand. It's nothing so grave as that. It's just, last time I used the cradle was just before it was stolen. Luckily, I'm still as alert as I've ever been, but it won't be long until I must dream like any other. That will give Leofine free reign while I'm helpless in bed. There's no quarry more dangerous than one who doesn't sleep. We have to see this through before it happens. I mean, I sleep all the time. It's fine. Master Novice, Master Tento, we have received reports that several groups of the Temple Knights have fallen afoul of what can only be your stolen artifact. Several? Let me guess, they were all guarding someone else. You would be correct. It's the duty of a knight to protect those who cannot protect themselves. If we fail at even the most basic function, then our honor means nothing. As if the incident near Camp Dragonhead is not shameful enough, the knights in these most recent attacks were left in quite compromising positions. Snowman. She's got a bit of artistry to it. You gotta admit that. The weight of embarrassment is a trifle compared to the guilt we would bear if any innocent came to harm. The Fury was merciful in that respect, but we would rather not see these incidents repeat. Still, while the Temple Knights must work to repair their reputation in the days ahead, 'tis a far cry from bringing Ishgard crumbling to its knees. Truth be told, the methods of the Passage of the Unbound leave me mystified. But Leofine was cunning, if not else. Till we can discern her true motivations, we have little recourse but to wait until she makes a mistake. I'm pretty sure that she is salty that she got kicked from the Temple Knights and is trying to discredit the organization. That feels like a pretty obvious motivation. Perhaps she gets her jolly seeing people humiliated. Many among the knights have suggested the same. Leofine may be part of this esoteric or may be part of this esoteric order, but she has ever been one to put her own interests first and foremost. The cradle is a tool of peace, yet Leofine uses it for childish pranks. She makes a mockery of its sacred power. We have to get it out of her clutches. And to do that, we have to start asking the right questions. Ugh. This new information makes me wonder, why does she focus her attention on the Temple Knights? I ponder the same. Posted at Camp Dragonhead are knights from many houses of repute, including House Fortom. Being a former Temple Knight herself, Leofine doubtless knows their habits and training. Perhaps it makes it easier for her to exploit their weaknesses. Then if we follow the knights, we may pick up on our trail. It's not ideal, but it's the best we have to go on. Well, a large contingent of knights has but recently been dispatched to Kurthis. You may remember you remember Gorging Mills, yes? It is laid abandoned ever since the heretics were driven from it. Okay, yeah, that one. Yet there is ever the risk that unsavory elements might infest it once again. Thus have the Temple Knights planned joint patrols around its premises with other contingents. If you speak with Sir Redwald at the Falcon's Nest, I'm certain he would be glad to have you along. Is that Master Novice I see? Of course, you're ever welcome in Falcon's Nest, yet I believe I don't know your companion here. Indeed, whispers of the Temple Knight's humiliations have reached even us here. Falling asleep while on duty, I dared not believe the stories, but it seems there was truth in them after all. They fell asleep, true, but it wasn't their fault. We suspect they fell victim to an enemy wielding a powerful artifact. Now, the rumors fail to mention anything like that. If it can lull even trained warriors to sleep, then we must treat it as a serious threat. Nevertheless, if one knight falls, another is always at the ready to take their place. So long as this artifact cannot put an entire regiment under its spell, I believe we are well positioned to combat it. Interesting. The idea of your allies falling in battle doesn't seem to disturb you at all. Where I hail from, a single warrior is responsible for the safety of his entire village. Make no mistake, we do not doubt our allies' mettle, and we mourn every loss, yet each man and woman here knows that if they must quit the battle, another sword just as fierce will take their place. To know that an ally is at your back, well, it would allow you to fight with abandon. Now you believe this Leofine might take interest in our activities at Gorgain Mills, yes? A party has already left, accompanied by a group of Temple Knights. If your suspicions are correct, then they are at risk. I would ask that you follow in their tracks to ensure that they have not fallen victim to foul play. The mills can be found to the north, just across the Black Iron Bridge. The party should be arriving here soon, conditions permitting. There soon, conditions permitting. We have to reach them before Leofine does. Remember that level 1 once lived. Gosh, gotta love how there are no other Aetherites in this zone for some goddamn reason. We're too late. They're fast asleep. But Redwall gave the impression there were more. These knights must have been lookouts. We should awaken them, but keep your eyes peeled for Leofine. Arouse these ones. Do you see that search that building yonder? Who the hells are you? How'd you get past the guards? It's you! Thank the Fury you arrived when you did. Those thugs struck when our backs were turned. I assumed the Temple Knights were protecting that entrance, so I wasn't as cautious as I should have been. Were they killed? Sleeping? I've heard the stories, of course, but I didn't think they were true. Whoever's behind this, I'm sure they didn't count on you showing up. For now, we shall tend to our wounds and then finish our inspection here. I ask that you join the knights outside and wait till they're finished. Ah, just as I thought. Just when I was becoming bored, I sighted a similar face among the slumbering knights. I simply had to come and make sure it was you. You finally found the courage to show yourself. Hand over the cradle now and I won't kill you. What did they call you again? The Wide Eye? You must have had quite the journey to come this far. Careful, this is their quarry, the thief who stole the cradle of the sleepless. This is Leofine. That is your ally. Where their nimble hands, they may seek your artifact for themselves. And the hero of the final days matters not, I suppose. Before you both throw your lives away, I suggest you think for a moment. Is the cause you fight for worth the sacrifice? So few of us know true freedom. There is aught that you would grasp with your own hands. Do so before they wither and your eyes shut for the last time. The codes and rules that would bind men are mere illusions. Open your eyes, truly open them, and you shall see a path all your own. Only a fool would waste their life in the struggle of another. Quit spouting nonsense. Nonsense? Perhaps. I'm here because of another, after all, Apyahi, who came to me at the height of my debauchery and welcomed me into her devious brotherhood. She guided me to great power, yes, and now I lead others on the unbound path. Yet, truth be told, I have little interest in seeing where it ends. To tear down the world's nations, Ishgard among them, and usher the world into, well, what does it matter? Yet I do derive great pleasure in shaming the Temple Knights, in seeing the snickers and jeers deflate from their pompous stride as they walk down the streets. If this artifact can hasten their fall from grace, then I believe I shall keep it. I know the path I walk, one that leads to your downfall. And I won't abandon it. I'll take the cradle back. And then I'll... Oh. Oh dear, you seem to have lost your train of thought. I know you cannot hear me, but if you want your artifact back, might I suggest stealing it from me while I'm asleep? But considering the burden I've just passed to you, that opportunity may not come for some time yet. I feel absolutely transcendent to think the shackles of fatigue weighed so heavily. It appears the artifact needs its own repose of sorts, so no matter, I have learned more than enough to take my next step. See to it that this lot is disposed of. It's the least you can do for the freedom I've given you. Tries to to rouse Santola, he seems completely detached from the waking world. Looks like you saved us twice today, thank you. But what of him? Fast asleep, just as we were. Could this be what Sir Firmalbert warned us about in his report? I see. Then those stories are more than just wicked rumors. I suppose there is some small comfort in the fact that our enemy tipped their hand without causing loss of life. While the drowsiness made my eyes heavy, my ears could not mistake Leo Fine's arrogant voice. If she would not scruple to attack former comrades in arms, then she has fallen further than I had dared imagine. Yet we bear the blame for allowing her to get the upper hand, and in so doing put innocent lives in danger, another black mark on our order. 'Tis only thanks to you and your companions' efforts that the snow was not stained red this day. At the very least, allow us to carry him to the congregation. Our work here is done, so we shall accompany them as far as Falcon's Nest. Pray return to Ishgard and look after your friend. Well, glad am I to see you well. I understand you come fresh from another encounter with none other than Leofine. Master Tentoa now rests on the second floor. We shall stand vigil by his side every moment until he opens his eyes again. We should not have long to wait, but if you wish to check on him, please do so at your leisure. It's another matter to discuss. Just before your departure to the Gorgane Mills, it seems there was another incident. A group of criminals were released from their cells. The guards found in a deep sleep. Doubtless Leofine was behind this. And doubtless the ruffians you clashed with were the self-same criminals Leofine's gathering, who bear a grudge against the Temple Knights to her side to use this animosity to her advantage. We now know for certain that Leofine is the mastermind of these attacks, and her aim is to chip away at the very foundation of the Temple Knights, our honor. When I shared these revelations with my superiors, 'twas decided that none would speak publicly of the artifact and its powers. The passage of the Unbound seeks to overthrow the nations of the world. One obvious method is to achieve this goal would be to stoke the flames of unrest among the common folk, thus sinking Ishgard into a mire of chaos and distrust, not unlike the blasphemies of the final days, which you did. That's the one role quest that you've done on this character. So long as these failures are placed squarely on the shoulders of the Temple Knights, we can avoid fomenting a more abiding mistrust in the nation's very core. For Ishgard's peace, I would gladly suffer any disgrace. This question remains whether we can apprehend Leofine before she tears our reputation to tatters. While Master Tentoa slumbers, it falls to us to search for clues that might point towards her whereabouts. I'm gonna go see if he's in here. They said he slumbers inside, right? Yeah, there he is. Eepy. Can I please click on the man? There we go. Leofine remains elusive as ever. She's in league with Ishgard's more unsavory elements. She could be anywhere. If she's in league with Ishgard's more unsavory elements, she could be anywhere. Can we talk to Hilda? Can we talk to any of the friends that I've made in this town? We've only a cryptic statement to guide us. It seems that whatever her plan is, her actions thus far have been but a prelude to its climax. We can but hope that Tentoa awakens before she emerges again. There you are. Oh! Lozanique. I'm glad I found you. I was starting to think I was in the wrong city, but the narwhal guided me true. You must be the maiden Tentoa mentioned. You hail from the same village, yes? I'm Firmalbert of the Temple Knights. 'Tis an honor to meet you. Tentoa wrote about you in his letters. I'm Lozanique. The honor's all mine. Is Tentoa with you? I haven't received a letter from him for some time, so I came here to check on him myself. You insufferable fool! What have I always told you about rushing ahead without thinking? Now you even have the gall to be sleeping when I arrive. You promised you'd write to me. What was I supposed to do when the letter stopped coming? I was so worried. At least I can take some small comfort that he appears otherwise unharmed. I take it you're to thank for that. He told me you were the Shut-Eye. That's right. For 10 years I bore his fatigue, and as a result my body is more fragile than most. But since arriving in Tuliolo, my life has become normal. As I've walked the city streets and eaten my fill of its food, I've felt my strength grow. I can even stay awake a full day now. Do you know why Tentoa sleeps so soundly? The reports of other incidents indicated that those affected woke in a matter of moments, yet Tentoa shows no signs of stirring. Well, I'm sorry, I can't say for certain. I do know the stories of those who came before me. More than one Shut-Eye has fallen into sleep much like this, one so absolute that they become deaf to the outside world. With no means to sustain their bodies, they would waste away if left alone, so our people found a mixture of herbs and other materials that help usher the Shut-Eye back to the waking world. What could possibly be so strong enough to bring someone back from this? We call it spring dew, and the secrets of its making are passed down through generations. Each drop acts as a ray of sunshine in the darkest of sleep, a beacon for the dreamer to follow. If I carry some of the ingredients on my person, but others must be gathered fresh. It won't be an easy task, but I'm certain it'll save Tentola. I don't know the Eorzean name, but one of the flowers blooms a striking yellow, and it grows only where mountain peaks soar above the clouds. Being so close to the heavens, it drinks in the sunlight, and its petals cleanse the body to promote wakefulness. In the churning mist blooms a yellow flower called a dandelion, and no other place in Eorzea can one be closer to touching the sun. Good. Next we need the saliva of a beast we call morbles. The thicker it is, the better. The pungent odor can wake the dead. I know them well. Morbles are not an uncommon sight in the Dravanian hinterlands. Mature specimens should produce saliva with the desired effect. From the prospect of gathering it, however, is an unenviable task. Once we have those two ingredients, mixing them with the rest should be a simple matter. Do you think you can procure them? Your confidence is reassuring, since the morble saliva must be the fresher of the two. I ask that you first climb into the heavens and pick the dandelions for Tentola. What was the... Oh, this is the Moogle. This is the Moogle tribe quest area. Donde... Dandelions? Are you pickable? No. Some dandelions shine an almost golden yellow. For much more gruesome tasks, venture to the Dravanian hinterlands and collect saliva from the mouth of a full-grown morble. Gotta love how the hinterlands only have one aetheryte, and it's not even in the zone. When you start mixing the ingredients at once, that is, of course, assuming you brought them with you. These are difficult to acquire in the best of times, so I thank you for gathering them so quickly. I shall get started immediately. We've done all we can. Now we wait for Tentoa to open his eyes. Where am I? I hope you enjoyed sleeping sleeping the days away, Tentoa. And I'm glad you're finally awake. Lozanique, what are you doing here? I see. So Leofine wielded the cradle against me, and while I was tucked soundly in bed, Lozanique came all this way. Cursed by weakness. Just when we had her, just when I was needed most, I failed. For 10 years, I endured countless trials, and when the time came, I couldn't even swing my damn weapon. Okay, so I am curious, because, like, okay, so Lozanique came because the letters stopped. Sure. They also said that, like, oh, if they're asleep like this, they can't eat. So, like, canonically, the ship ride from Tural is, like, months long, right? Like, at least a month, around-ish. You would have been without food for at least, like, a month. Like, she had to have realized that the letters had stopped coming, and then arrived. Oh. Time came I couldn't even swing my damn weapon. It's not your fault, Tentoa. If anyone's to blame for what happened, it's me. I won't hear it. As you may know, Leofine won our trust by posing as a scholar traveling the width and breadth of Tural. She expressed great interest in the cradle and our customs, and I was so excited to meet an outsider that I answered every question. I told her that the Wide-Eye keeps the cradle with them at all times, and then she hatched her plan. She took me hostage to draw out Tentoa. While Lozanique was sleeping, Leofine snuck into her chamber and held a blade to her throat. I had no choice but to give her what she wanted, the cradle of the sleepless. I put Lozanique's life before the future of our people. It was that moment I became unfit to be their guardian. Lozanique is one of your people. Protecting her was your duty. Thank you. You know just what to say. That was the only way to see a future where none of my people come to harm, especially Lozanique. Even without the cradle, you're still our guardian. My guardian. We'll find a way through this together. Seeing him in such high spirits, it lifts my own. Oh, before I forget, you trounced Leofine's thugs when I was dreaming in the snow, didn't you? I owe you a debt I won't soon forget. And I'd wager that debt will grow larger before we pry the treasure from Leofine's clutches. But whatever it takes, I won't stop until she's answered for her crimes. I'm embarrassed to admit that it was the first time I ever created the mixture. I'm glad it worked as intended. You know, while I was sleeping, I dreamed. I saw Lozanique and I's children. Nothing particularly interesting happened, just whiled away the days away without a care in the world. I'd forgotten what it was like to dream. It was pleasant. I can remember wanting to stay there and never to open my eyes again, but of course the moment I gave form to that thought... I opened them and Lozanique was there. Even if we get the cradle back, will things return to the way they were? Will you go back to spending your life in dreams? I suppose so. It's my duty as the Shut-Eye, after all. Your duty, and it was your duty too that compelled you to come all the way here to Ishgard. But no more. What are you saying? I tried so hard to convince myself that you were glad spending so much time asleep, but being on the other side made me realize I was lying to myself all along. I don't want to return to a life where you and I are bound together but always so far apart. I want to go back to those happy days when we were able to be at each other's sides. I guess what I'm saying is, if there's a different path for us, I want to find it, and I want to walk it with you. But not yet. First we reclaim the cradle, and when we have, we'll take our first steps forward to a new future, I promise. I must confess, I haven't felt the same since I woke up. I know I was in bed for a while, but instead of feeling refreshed, my body feels weaker somehow. It's almost as if my very strength was sapped when that treasure was turned on me. I can't even grip my weapon properly. Perhaps the cradle's been sapping the ether of its targets all along. Now, does that mean the cradle's has powers we didn't know about? Not exactly. It may just mean the cradle works differently than we thought. Its wielder might not pass on their fatigue, rather they absorb another's vigor. The end effect will be the same. The cradle's wielder can go on without sleep, and its victim loses the strength to even keep their eyes open. You never took more than you needed, so my slumber was always light enough to awaken from, but if the treasure was used without restraint... If we have this realization, it won't be long before Leofine does too, and then it'll be too late. We have to root her out. But I mustn't rush ahead blindly. Lozanique never tires of telling me. I feel nearly weak as a child right now. I must spend what precious time we have to train and regain what strength Leofine stole from me. You have my word that I won't rest until I'm in top form again. I suggest that you do the same, if for no other reason than to give me some stiff competition. I don't have enough ingredients to make the spring do again. We'll have to deal with Leofine before the cradle's power returns. Awakened, not stirred. That's such a dumb quest name. God. You've been strong. Well, I'm not my old self yet. I'm feeling better by the day. Still, there's much work to be done. I need to be even better than I was before we have, if we're to have any hope of catching Leofine. I wonder what she's plotting with the rest of her cohorts. Well, we know they aim to topple nations around the world, but this is an odd way to go about it, don't you think? Why haven't her misdeeds in Ishgard extended any further than the Temple Knights? I pondered the same question. Our best guess was that a former Temple Knight herself, she chose them because she knows how to exploit their weaknesses. She's using her knowledge as a weapon, and we might need to equip ourselves likewise. If we can learn more about her, we might be able to anticipate her next move. Good plan, I admit, but I have no idea where to start. Should we talk to Firmalbert? Firmalbear, maybe? That sounds... I already have. He said that while he never knew personally, the knights in our old squadron might be able to shed some light onto our past. Some of them now patrol the city. Firmalbear was, a great help in telling me where they might be. You've been busy, Lozanique. Well, I can't remember the last time I was awake this long. I didn't want to sit around until I got tired again. And we're all the better for it. Since you've gathered the information, it's only fitting that I should do the legwork. Just tell me where the knights are, and I'll speak with them. Gladly. But Ishgard's still an unfamiliar city for the both of us, right? Although Firmalbear told me where to go, the names of these places mean nothing to me. Luckily, we have Missing to guide you. You go with Tentola, won't you? I knew we could count on you. Alright, take a note of these locations. Being forced to work with someone like Leofine isn't a fate I would envy. I'm curious to hear what these knights have to say about her. Hopefully they provide insight that'll help guide us forward. Time is of the essence. Let's get moving. How many of the Temple Knights are there that not even Firmablair would know all of them? I can barely imagine. Are there talking points around here? There's one over there. Now, this here's a rare privilege. What business could the savior of Ishgard have with a humble knight? You want to know about Leofine? Well, many Temple Knights come from common stock, but she was different. Despite what she became, Leofine was born in noble blood. Even so, she often made mock of Ishgard's customs and responsibilities that bound the conduct of noble families. Doubtless she yearned for freedom all her life, or her idea of it anyways. Although her deeds caused her to be expelled from the Temple Knights and summarily stripped of her title, she may have actually desired that outcome. If she hated it so much here, all she had to do was leave. I hear she did leave for a time at least. Now she's in league with a group that aims to plunge the world into chaos. If a selfish heart like Leofine was out to aid in this plot, I shudder to imagine how wicked their leader must be. Do you require aid? I must keep watch, so forgive me if I don't engage in idle chit-chat. Leofine, for her I could spare a moment. I don't suppose you know why she was expelled from the Temple Knights, do you? While few were her equal in swordplay, and few were still handled their amounts with such grace, she oft spent her nights carousing in the gambling halls. It was after just such a night that she fell asleep while on duty. Some may call it a cruel twist of fate, but dragons attacked her charges as she slept, and they were left defenseless. In her negligence, she was deemed to have aided our ancestral foe, and thus was stripped of her knighthood and noble title both. Knights falling asleep on duty is a story that's becoming all too familiar. Given what happened, I've no doubt when she came to fear sleep, yet now she has conquered that weakness, and she wields it as a weapon against us. She may even believe herself to be beyond the reach of mortal danger, yet she's only deluding herself, and in time she'll be made to answer for her deeds. I've heard that the people of Ishgard revere a warrior god, but here is a statue of a flesh and blood knight. I've never seen such a thing. My people make no figures or depictions of our departed, fearing that such objects would keep them from finding their way to the next world. The only idol we keep is the cradle of the sleepless. And thanks to his blessings, the Wide Eye has always watched over us. So our reference is devoted solely to that of the narwhal. It's enough that it guides our people to safety in the next sunrise. All is quiet, even so we must remain vigilant. Leofine, eh? A name spoken of in hushed whispers now, but many have forgotten her strategic genius. She had a singular talent for achieving victory in battle by whatever means necessary. Genius? Maybe we're too dense to see how our actions would cause Ishgard to collapse. Given that her group seems relatively few in number, an assault on Ishgard is unlikely. Rather, I think her aim is to chip away at the people's trust in Ishgard's foundation, and by the absence of a few vital bricks, bring the whole nation tumbling down. The thought gives me worry. Even now, representatives from Ishgard are preparing to visit Oxundu in the Sea of Clouds. If anything were to go wrong, it would be a grievous blow to Ishgard's reputation. As we saw at Falcon's Nest, certain elements that oppose our nation see friendly gestures as a chance to spark conflict. Given the recent developments, Sir Handloop has been debating whether the visit was a wise choice. Well, we have a general understanding of what drives our adversary, stories that paint a picture of a rotting, conniving soul. We know enough to guess her next move. You're right. Whatever her ultimate goal may be, it's clear that she has an almost blinding focus on shaming Temple Knights. And this, what do you call it again? A delegation? May prove an irresistible opportunity. Finally, we have knowledge to use against our enemy. If we all work together, we might be able to trap her. We haven't much time. Let's return to the congregation and tell this Hendeloop what we know. You're ever welcome at the congregation, Missing. I am well appraised of Leofine's wicked deeds, and your efforts to flush her out have been much appreciated. And this must be Master Tentolwa, who crossed the ocean from Tural. I hope that you have recovered from your ordeal. Better than ever. Apologies for taking up one of your beds for so long. Please, no apologies are necessary. On the contrary, the Temple Knights yet owe you a debt for all you've done. Which brings us to the purpose of this visit. You had something to discuss with me? I see, you and I have the same doubts. The delegation to Oxundu would be an obvious target for Leofine. I was but recently debating the wisdom of moving forward with our plans. As you know, all of Ishgard falls under the protection of the Temple Knights. As such, 'tis only meet that we maintain and strengthen friendly relations with our neighbors. The delegation in question is tasked with deepening mutual understanding of each of our unique cultures. Sonovanu, the chief of the Zundu, was most eager to host. Yet, so long as the specter of Leofine hangs over our order, I fear visits abroad are unwise. Should any of the Vanu come to harm, our relations could be damaged irreparably. As we have no way of knowing if Leofine has caught wind of our plans, I am of the mind that postponing the delegation may be the most prudent course of action for the safety of all. This could also be the perfect chance to draw her out. That's right. Missing and I won't let anyone come to harm. As long as you warn the Vanu in advance, they shouldn't hold the actions of a rogue against you. If they're truly your allies, they'll see wisdom in your judgment. Please, send the delegation as planned. It'll be our best chance to capture Leofine. Yes, your words have merit. Thank you for the sage counsel. You're right. The Zundu would not stand idly by while we suffer at Leofine's hand. In fact, the fellowship between our two peoples was forged when a god assailed their home and was brought low by a great hero. If we tell the Zundu that he is keeping watch over the proceedings, then I am certain all doubt shall be quelled. Then you'll proceed? Indeed. The time has come for we Temple Knights to reclaim our honor and go on the counteroffensive. I shall bring the suggestion of a joint operation against Leofine to the Lord Commander as soon as possible. Thank you. Together we'll put a stop to our scheme. I first must discuss matters with the others involved before we present a plan to the Lord Commander. Although time is of the essence, I ask that you wait a while until our course is settled. Ugh. What up, Lizanique? Tentolwa told me all you learned of Leofine. To be honest, I do empathize somewhat with her desire to be free from the bonds of sleep, but that's where my sympathy ends. It's exactly because we must sleep that every waking moment is precious. A life awake is meaningless if we can't spend it with those we care about. I realize now that I agreed to defend a people I know next to nothing about. Tell me if these Zundu will soon be visiting. They're like the Hanu with even more of a penchant for metaphor. Really? The two groups of people so far apart? The world really is full of surprises. Even a single city is enough for a lifetime. Every day I hear something that gives me food for thought. Like the story of the Dragon Song War, for instance, generations of animosity between dragon and man that somehow ended in a rekindled fellowship. I imagine a whole world like that, a world where there'd be no need for protectors. The Wide-Eye watches not only the monsters in the wilderness, but our neighbors as well. We've barely even considered sending delegations outside our village's gates. And the cold snap only made things worse. With everyone struggling just to survive, our every thought goes towards defending our scarce resources. But if we only look outwards with weariness, there's no hope for the future to change, no hope to build trust. If only there was a way to bridge that distance between us and greet tomorrow hand in hand. Maybe that's just a silly dream. Maybe. Either way, it's a beautiful thought. I'm glad you think so. I'll hold that future in mind as I get back to training. As for you, get some rest. If you fall asleep when I need you most, I'll wake you up with a knock to the head. Dreams of a new day. Sir Handloop still hasn't sent word. I guess the others might not be so enthusiastic about our plan. To them, the Cradle of the Sleepless is naturally still something to be feared. No matter how much faith they have in your strength, you'd be at Leofine's mercy if she put you to sleep. Honestly, I don't blame them. Not even I imagined our treasures could be used for such evil. In Leofine's hands, it's no more than an indiscriminate weapon. But that means when we get it back, we can turn it into something else. Something no one's ever thought of before. We can find a way to use it without forcing someone to spend their life in slumber. Of course, I agree with you, Tentoa, but we have more pressing matters, namely a rogue knight to capture and a treasure to recover. Right, sorry, got ahead of myself. Apologies for keeping you waiting so long. The Temple Knights have finally reached a decision concerning the delegation to the Sea of Clouds. And what have you decided? I'm pleased to say that the Zundu have agreed to join forces with us. Together we shall drive back Leofine should she attack. If her shadow darkens even an ilm of their homeland, our peaceful delegation shall turn into a fighting force at a moment's notice. We shall restore Temple Knight's reputation and recover your artifact in one fell swoop. Thank you, Handloop. We promise to do our part if Leofine shows herself. She won't get away this time. We have but to hammer out the finer details. Once we're ready to depart, the first group of knights shall leave by airship. I would have you both make your way to Oxundu as soon as possible, that you may help plan out our strategy. I'm coming too. I can heal your wounds, and if it comes to it, my staff can bruise as well as a club. I'll gladly have you with us. I'm done taking on the world alone. I need you, Lozanique, and Missing too. We're stronger together than we ever could be apart. The cradle never would be stolen if I'd realized that from the beginning. And I want you by my side to ensure I don't forget it. Well then, we better be off. I'm keen to meet this Chief Sonovanu. We're on a floating island. What other fantastic locales can be found in Eorzea? Their graceful dancing belies their bulk. Can they fly too? Honored Netherling, your return to Oxundu was welcomed as the arrival of spring. Sona knows why you came. Wicked Heart seeks to bring chaos to our home. And so the Zundu shall rise to its defense if needed. As the sun's rays chase away the shadows of night, the Sundrop dance shall keep the tendrils of sleep at bay. Chief Sonovanu, it's an honor to meet you. I'm Tentoa, and if the Sundrop dance is as invigorating as you say, I'd love to see it for myself. The Zundu shall dance before Ishgard's warriors upon their arrival. Brave Tentoa is welcome to join the proceedings. That was your original intent, right? I see. If we're to draw Leofine out, it makes sense to pretend like nothing's amiss. The Zundu warriors unify their strength throughout the Sundrop dance, and the sight is so fearsome that many choose to flee rather than fight. Netherling warriors may learn much from this simple approach. Breaking the enemy's spirit avoids needless bloodshed. Yet all dancers must hone their skills before wild animals first. That it is the Sundrop dance does not fail them at the most crucial moment. It is for that reason our dancers await the outskirts of Loch Zundu for Netherling's arrival. When the performance begins, I shall draw attention to all like a roiling cloud coming over the horizon. Watch carefully for any who would take advantage of the moment. After the dance is finished, Netherlings will present Zundu with Chief Sonu. Netherling's ship appears in the skies like sudden sun shower hurtling towards Earth. Swiftly it descends, crashing down near Zundu dancers. Ship markings are Ishgardian. Zundu are unhurt, but wounded Netherlings pour from vessel. Like a lightning bolt to the night, Leofine strikes. The Temple Knights were coming by airship, right? All Leofine had to do was lull the pilot to sleep. She saw right through us, and now we're on the back foot. Great winds can alter even a raging river's course. What matters is to stand strong and move forward, and now we must offer aid to the Netherlings who come as our guests. Right, let's go. We're fortunate that Leofine chose outskirts of the settlement to enact her horrible plan. Imagine if the ship crashed over Oxzundu or even Ishgard. This is the work of the cradle. Leofine can't be that far. We must tend to the wounded, but I won't let her escape again. This ends today, one way or another. There you are, Leofine. You came all this way just to greet me. I'm honored. I only hope my gift was satisfactory. 'Tis a shame you'll not see Ishgard crumble. Alas, I can scarcely suffer rats to scurry about my feet, threatening to gnaw away at my carefully laid plans. Oh, she's a viper. Oh, she's a rogue. Those swords aren't big enough to be a viper. Lest you bear witness to the dying breath of the Temple Knight's flagging honor, we would sooner see that wrecked airship soar again than their reputation return to its former glory. We would sooner see that wrecked airship soar again than see the reputation return to its former glory. Yet even I did not foresee that the Zundu would be in the ship's path. The fury favors me, for who now would trust a nation so careless as to put their neighbors at risk? Everyone knows you're behind this. People won't turn on each other so easily. Oh, I didn't see you there. The shut-eye, wide awake. Doubly honored am I that you came all this way just to meet your end. Enough. We're taking the cradle back. We won't let your evil continue any longer. Such bold words. If I recall correctly, your people reaped the benefits of this artifact powers, all at the cost of someone's waking life. Your life. Pray do not misunderstand me. That was not meant to be a denouncement of your people. On the contrary, they have my utmost respect. We are bound by our very nature, and no matter how mighty we become, we are slaves to the whims of sleep. Yeah, this artifact can sunder those shackles and grant true freedom. It makes its wielders stronger, and their enemies weak. A perfect weapon, if you ask me. I can't say whether using the cradle is right or wrong. I only know that a life lived at the cost of another is no life at all. You're right about one thing. We're bound by our nature, but that doesn't shackle us. It brings us together. And whether I'm asleep or awake, as long as Lozanique is by my side, that's the life I want. We take the cradle back together. exhausted the Cradle's power on the Temple Knights. This is our chance. No plan is without its wrinkles, I suppose. Fortunately, I prepare for all contingencies. You had an opportunity to live a quiet life, but I will not give it again. This time, I shall send you into a slumber from which you will never wake. Back to the Cradle, we'll take it back. I'll bluster as usual. Take it if you dare. Destroy the darkness and sleep with the sun drop dance. Right, there we go. We were attacked. Everyone's awake. And he's done to protect Netherling warriors. Keep cautious, like Gaelic out under storming skies. Now you're all alone. This ends now, Leofine. My curse with incompetence. Very well, dance with me, wide-eye. of explosive power. It begs to be released. Shut your eyes for the final time. Take a last glimpse of the waking world. I'm alright, what about Tentola? This piece of wood is for protection. Such a cloying sentiment. They're dancing. On your feet, Tentola. It's your duty as the Wide Eye. What? I was asleep. You my life, thank you. Send do good to help allies. May Zephyr winds guide you to victory. Sleep is inexorable. How are they doing this? Sweet ass dance moves. There we go. Stubborn. You may have won today, but this is not over. Unfortunately, ma'am, this is the level 100 quest, so it in fact is over. I'm the one who is Eepy. Damn fool. Now! No! Say goodnight, Leofine. Oh, shit. Oh, I thought they were gonna take her in as a prisoner. Okay, well, the Griffin probably has her, right? The Griffin probably saved her. That's it. Turns why'd I watch the turtle and the turtle is asleep at bestows. Oh, I get that because I first thought it sounded like it was a thing about aha, I'm gonna kill people, but actually it means that the shut-eye sleeps forever. Okay, yeah, she's probably fine, right? Back to that, she's probably fine, I think. We finally stopped her. Yes, but we have someone else to worry about. Are you alright? Only he would smile at a time like this. He's awake. Another one looks hale as a warrior in their prime. Good. Our wicked foes fled from Sundrop Dance like twilight before dawn. It's good to see you awake. Don't worry, you weren't asleep for long, and judging by your fierce expression, the cradle didn't sap away any of your trademark vigor. Your work's done. You did a commendable job as our shield, and now you can lay down your burden. It was thanks to your bravery that I was able to deal the final blow to Leofine, and with the cradle back in our possession, I think we can consider this expedition across the seas to be a success. The Zendu helped us gather the wounded and see them safely off to Ishgard. We couldn't have done it without you. Netherlings protect allies as fiercely as Gallicat protecting its kittens. Zendu are moved by your might. You're equally impressive. I should learn the Sundrop Dance myself, though I won't strike a figure half as fierce as yours. The Zendu seem to have everything well in hand, and Handloop is likely eager to see us. We should return to Ishgard as soon as we can. The heroes of the day have returned. Thanks to your valor, the threat to Leofine poses no more. What's more, not a single life was lost. On behalf of all the Temple Knights, allow me to express my utmost gratitude. You don't owe me any thanks. After all, it was my fault the cradle was stolen in the first place, and ultimately my fault that your delegation to Oxundu turned into a melee. It may be true that our visit to the Sea of Clouds is far from peaceful, but the bond between the Zundu and the Temple Knights is only deepened through overcoming a mutual adversary. Blessings often take inscrutable forms. And while we know not whether Leofine yet lives, we do know that she can no longer reach the source of her ill-gotten power, so we have little more to fear from her. With the crisis behind us, the common folk no longer have aught to fear. We will make known the story of Leofine's schemes and the heroes who work to foil them, and in time, I hope that the trust in our order will be restored. The Temple Knights shall continue to build relations with our neighbors for years to come, relations which shall form the foundation for Ishgard's future. We would be honored if we could count you among our allies in the endeavor. Anything you need, simply call upon us. We'll be there, no questions asked. And with that, it's time we returned home. It's been an honor. We'll be passing through Tural on our way back. If you have business in those parts, we'd love to speak with you at Jabal Tai before setting off. See you soon, hopefully. Just in time, too. I gotta be getting back to work here. Back to work. I have to be clocking in. So wrap this up and then we're good. I'm glad you made it back to Tural. I had been in Ishgard for so long, I'd almost forgotten what it's like to sweat. But I remember now. You can be sure. There you are. I was afraid we wouldn't see you before we left. We arrived not long ago, and appraised Burkevu of everything that happened. This is the longest I've spent away from our village, but even though Tuliolol and Ishgard were entirely different worlds to me, I was only ever treated with kindness. Is anything the matter, Tantoa? Nothing, it's just something I've been thinking about. Our people have always been self-sufficient, but the Ishgardians and the Zundu showed that looking to your neighbors can reveal a way through the harshest difficulties. And you heard, Handloop, the bond between Ishgard and Oxundu was only made deeper through the shared ordeal. To trust another to such a degree, well, I think it's a goal that we should all strive towards. We have at least one friend like that, don't we? He who bent his ears to every note of the narwhal's lullaby without a shade of fear in his eyes. Thank you. For believing in us. For believing that no matter the outcome, your actions would not be in vain. In so doing, you taught me the worth of fighting alongside your allies you can trust. I only protected you as you protected me. Is that what I did? I honestly don't remember much about that moment. I think I was only acting on instinct. I suppose that's what it means to have faith in your allies. But approaching someone with open arms doesn't mean that they'll accept you. The relations between our people and our nation and our neighbors have been strained by generations of mistrust, and we must take care to mend them properly. If we can do that and learn to look outwards, if the future, look towards the future hand in hand, then there'll be no need to use the cradle lever again. People can sleep and dream untroubled and awaken with bright eyes. I want to see those days come to pass. Me too. Then you and I can finally spend more time together. Right, of course. If we're going to see this future, then we should get back to our village. They'll be overjoyed to see the cradle returned. Thanks for everything. Next time we meet, maybe we both have good news to share. No sleep till Tuliolo. Jeez. Game's silly. Okay, I've gotta get to work here, so... Let's go raid Mike the Quad. They're doing some magic. If you're heading over, raid messages, you found the missing persons are, if you're on YouTube, twitch.tv/Mike the Quad. Thanks for hanging out. I'll catch you nerds some other time.